Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, everyone, and welcome to This is Football. Welcome to another stream, ladies and gentlemen. A transfer stream. The only club that has any transfer news related to it is Tottenham Hotspur. So that's what we were starting with. You guys have already mentioned it in the chat, so I'm going to acknowledge it, of course. 25,000 subscribers, my people. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to be doing a celebration Q&A tonight at 11 p.m. It's not just going to be a Q&A. I'm going to be talking about the journey all the way to 25K. And we're talking about the spaces. I'm going to be talking about the YouTube, the beefs I've had, just kind of talking to you about the reality of YouTube and this world, of YouTube that you guys watch us on every day if you guys would like. So there's when it comes to the 25K thing, I'm gonna just say a small thank you now, and the bigger thank you and the bigger topic, inshallah, will be back at 11 p.m. UK time. I'm going to be doing a whole Q&A, a sit down and tell all, as I called it, because I am going to be talking about a lot of things. So thank you all. Absolutely incredible, feat to achieve on this channel. 25K couldn't have been done without the help of you guys. Toka in the chat, obviously the biggest fan of Hamza on this planet, is already whining that Hussam's late. I've already told you guys, this is not Sky TV. This is football, and we're gonna be late anyway. So you can hold that, you get me, and enjoy the show. So make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribing to This is Football. I cannot believe my first stream after 25,000 subscribers is a bloody Spurs stream. After all the stuff that's happened this season, all the Hussam versus the Spurs fan base going on, I've become the villain in the Spurs fans' eyes type thing. One of the guys who comes on wants Arsenal to beat us tomorrow because Hussam's a fraud, and I quote. So all of that happens, and the first stream on 25K is a Spurs stream. You guys may ask me, why am I doing a Spurs stream? I will ask you, who the hell else do you want me to talk about? Am I supposed to do a stream? Hey guys, Chelsea beats Preston. Oh my God, shocking. No one would have known. No one would have known. Crazy stuff. Obviously, that's the topic we're going to be talking about today. Spurs. Timo Werner is going to be headed on loan to Tottenham Hotspur. Somehow, some way, Eric Dier is headed to Bayern Munich. I have no idea how that's even a thing. I genuinely have no idea how that's a thing. And maybe I was right. Pochettino is obviously better than Tuchel if he thinks Dier can help him out. And Dragusin, we call him Dragon Ball Z, for the last 2-3 days, is also another player that's linked to Tottenham Hotspur. There's a lot for us to talk about, a lot for us to discuss. Big up my guy, Aaron, before I introduce the panel. Since in the first super chat, this team says 25K. Aaron, I appreciate you. One of the loyal community members that's always here, regardless. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support, Habibi. And remember to come back at 11 p.m. because that Q&A sit down and tell all stream is going to be absolutely electric. I even have my suit ready. I'm going to be wearing my suit. 25K, you get me. So let's do this. I appreciate you, Aaron. Thank you so much. And listen, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, subscribing. Let me introduce the first guy joining us because he was here first. The reason that we're late is that Billy Ray Cyrus, looking as fraud, but making his debut on This is Football. We've had multiple interactions before, whether it be on Twitter Spaces, whether it be on comment sections. I always bring up his comments when he comments on the streams. I think he was on Henry Wright TV yesterday. Big up Henry Wright. He might be joining us actually tomorrow as well, for another Spurs stream. So, we had this interaction. I think I'm a fraud, so he wants Arsenal to win tomorrow. I cannot believe he thinks that Hussam being fraudulent is worse than the Arsenal hatred. But anyway, joining us on his channel, making his debut on This is Football with the legendary chair that I am so jealous of. I admit it publicly right now. I'm 100% jealous of his chair. Man, like Sean is in the building. Sean, man.
Hi, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. That's a great intro as well. Henry,
That
don't
was
give
lovely.
me the See?
It's a lovely intro, mate. I'll press pause on the fraud stuff just for the first 10 minutes. By the way, the only reason I'm rocking this chair is because I'm a big guy and I've gone through like 4 different versions of chairs in 2023. I spent more money on chairs than most other things in my life, and in the end, gaming chairs didn't sustain me. So now I've gone to the armchair. People call me an armchair Tottenham fan, so I feel like I'm just gonna hold it.
It's a proper chair, isn't it, Benito? 100%. I actually, you know what it is? One of my plans for the new setup, I'm gonna get like one of these massive ass chairs, like exactly what Sean did. Because I'm also like I'm 6'1", you get me and stuff like, and the chair is just so small, like it doesn't even hit my back, like it literally just reaches up until my shoulder. I'm gonna get one of these big ass chairs that you have.
Do it. I think we should start a trend. If we're gonna be armchair fans, let's really be armchair fans.
Let's do it. Hey, might as well. Big up to you, Aaron. No worries. Listen, you can watch it on the replay. But anyway, I'll be talking about more off the grid stuff on that stream as well. Less football on the Q&As. You guys already know. So, and speaking of, frauds and chairs, I'm actually shocked he doesn't have a bigger chair because he's 6'5". I think. I swear he's 6'5". I have no idea how he sits on that little ass chair. The violence there behind him because he's going to be playing it on a happy tune when Eric Dier heads to Bayern because he's Eric Dier's absolute biggest fan. You guys already know. Billy Ray Cyrus is in the building. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. He's here, of course. Man like Jacob. How you doing, Jacob, man?
Hello. How's everybody doing? I'm actually 6'4". I wish I was 6'5". Maybe it would have been a better goalkeeper, but I am 6'4". And the key to having a small chair, guys, is balance. In life, in my assessment of Tottenham Hotspur, I like balance. You know me, Hassam. You know me, Sean. Chat. Who's more balanced than Jacob? You're not gonna find a more balanced. So I'm really just on a swivel stool. So
not when it comes to two specific players. Two specific players, you have absolutely zero balance and 100% undying loyalty that goes to the point of weird. It goes to the point of weird for Romero and for Sonny. You can't say boo to a goose about those guys in front of you, otherwise you just lose your...
I mean, you can, but here's the thing. You're going to end up losing that conversation because when it comes down to it, two of the best, Lionel Messi agrees with me, and that's enough that I need to go to sleep at night. But yes, those are two goats of the game that I will defend, much like anyone going for Mohamed Salah to Hassam. You got to put some respect on the man's name. And I understand. Look at that. Exactly. Everyone in the chat knows. They already know how balanced I am. Just so equal in my assess. And when I assess Arsenal as well, such a balanced take, such a balanced view.
Oh yeah, you're so balanced when it comes to Arsenal. Listen, now that I've had enough of this crap already. That says balanced. Balanced my ass. That's the one.
I'm so balanced.
You've got zero balance when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur. When it comes to Arsenal, sorry, you cannot be balanced 100%. By the way, big up to Mo, who as soon as I told him earlier on, Jacob is coming on, he's like, Jacob is such a fraud. And then he's here in the chat.
Hey, big up Mo. Good to see you too, my friend.
Big up. Anyway, listen, big up Aaron for the super chat. Big up to you guys. Already 200 people in the building. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Just because we hit 25K does not mean that you guys stop liking, stop subscribing, stop sharing. So share the video, hit the like button, subscribe, as my brother JJ Ash is saying. And listen, let's just get to it. I feel like, I know Timo Werner is like the breaking news and stuff. And it's the stuff that's kind of been, spoken about the most. But there's I cannot get over this. Eric Dier is headed to Bayern Munich, you guys. Like, I need an explanation. Like, how is this a thing? Can we get an explanation, please, from you guys? Because, like, help us out here. Like, how? How is this a thing, please?
I can tell you.
Go on, Jacob.
I think Sean and I both agree. Harry Kane wants a friend. He said, I hit my bonus, sir. Can you buy me a friend? It's lonely up in this ivory tower and schnitzel land where no one can come visit me at the hotel except concierge. I need a British lad to make me a cup of tea. I hit my goal mark, so can I please, sir, have that bonus? I think that's what happened. Harry Kane said, I need someone to play golf with. There's all these schnitzel golfing courses. Putt-putt's what you want. You can get it there out in Schnitzelville, and that's what Eric Dier's going there for. Trophies remain to be seen. There's only 2 left for them to grab. I know one of them they won't. Shout out Leverkusen. Hopefully prevent the second. It'll be absolutely hilarious. I'm not saying I want that. I hope that whoever leaves, they prosper. Shout out Harry Winks and Leicester found his level. But Eric Dier going to Bayern is absolutely hilarious. I knew Thomas Tuchel was a fraud, and this just cements that fact. When I knew he shook
Thank you, by the way,
Antonio.
Thank you. 100%.
What? Thomas Tuchel?
Tuchel being a fraud, 100%.
Oh, he's an absolute fraud. Skeletor looking. Yeah. What? Yeah. When he shook Conte's hand and Conte said, hey, oh, he knew in that moment. That's what I knew, at least. This guy's an absolute fraud. He just wants someone to believe in him, and no one does. And but Eric Dier will. I hope they have him for another 10 years.
Bayern Munich have had things so easy in the Bundesliga for so long that they don't have to worry about scouting players. And so when they're going, what we could probably do with a centre back, to come and play third fiddle. Let's have a look on YouTube. Let's look for some highlight reels, because there's a Twitter account that's going around, a German Bundesliga Bayern Munich football fan that's found a highlight reel of Eric Dier. And I'm watching it going, man, if I didn't know who this guy is, I'd be kind of going, this guy can play. He's got every single clip over the last 6 years, every goal he's scored, every penalty he's taken, every free kick that hit the bar. And it's only a 2-minute clip. It's only a 2-minute video, but every single good thing he's ever done has been squeezed into this montage. And you see like the guy who's written it going, welcome to Bayern Munich, Eric. We've got an absolute baller. I can't believe we're getting this guy for only 5 million euros. This is going to revolutionize our back, our back three or back four. And then in the comment section, it's just a whole bunch of Tottenham fans with the emoji who's like trying to stop themselves laughing. Because I don't think these guys know what they've signed up for. But listen,
what I will
YouTube highlight reels, man, they can tell a story. They can always tell a story.
That's exactly why comps are fraudulent, by the way. Comps are so fraudulent for that. The exact reason Sean just said. I promise you, I could take name your current club's worst player, and I will take a comp and make him look like a good player. I think if you take the goals that Scott McTominay scored this season, I can make a banger compilation for Man United, So it's just, it's just so. But I get the Harry Kane and a friend thing, but it still is so weird. It's genuinely so strange. It's just
he's not going to play though, right? They got Kim and
imagine
Jay
him next to Kim and Ye being like, "Hey, Eric, do this," and Eric's like, "I only speak Portuguese and English," and that'll be fun. That'll be absolutely fun. The drop off in talent. I think it's going to be hilarious. I have been checking out some of the Bayern fan channels. They're all stressing. They want this to fall through. They're astonished. I've even seen some fans saying Tuchel should be sacked if this is true that he wants this guy. And by all intents and purposes, it does look like he is wanted. I did come up with a little bit of a sales pitch. There are attributes. If I'm Eric Dier's manager, how do I go about selling someone Eric Dier? So what I would say is an England international. Now, England is one of those squads where outside of Harry Maguire, it's really tough to solidify a starting position there. But Eric Dier did at one point in time, and he was, I think, called to the World Cup most recently. So this is a World Cup defender, if you think about it, for his nation. He has over 350 appearances for a top 6 Premier League side. He's very tall. Some say if you're going to sit back in a low block and you want a guy to stand there and be tall.
He's not very tall. He's 5'11", and he's 6'.
Well, look, you let Brian. You set Brian Hill there. You put Brian Hill.
Oh yeah,
and
okay,
then it makes him look a little bit taller. So when you're selling the used automobile, so I'm saying that there are some attributes as to why I could, I guess, see it from a Stevenage or a Portsmouth, Peterborough, but from a Bayern Munich is absolutely hilarious.
In all seriousness, it can only be the friend thing, because there's 3 centre backs at Bayern Munich that are better than him, right? That are miles and miles better than him. So he's never really going to play, is he?
I've actually just checked it. He is 6'2". I'll tell you one scenario.
I knew he was over 6.
Me and Jacob, I'm so glad we actually agree on the whole Tuchel being a fraud thing. I think Tuchel is one of the most, not one of, I think he's the most overrated manager currently active in world football. I just think he's so overrated. But the one thing Eric Dier can do is, I think he can play in a low block. and that's what Tuchel specializes in. So he's thinking, if I come up against Man City,
technically I can too, but
fairs. He's thinking, if I come up against Man City or a Real Madrid in a Champions League, can I just park the bus and play absolutely horrible football and use Eric Dier? The answer is probably yes, to be honest with you. Like, Eric Dier can header a football. Like, it's not like he's not totally crap. He's crap in the modern style. But if someone wants to play shit football, Eric Dier, like, I don't know if that does make sense what I'm saying. That's why for England he plays well too, right?
But even in that scenario, you would still go with Upamecano or Kim Min-jae over Eric Dier, even in a low block scenario, right? And you could also pick any. If the only kind of thesis here is when we're trying to fill up the goal, then that's when we need a centre back that's not one we already have. Then you go and get someone like Harry Maguire, who's slightly wider and slightly taller, right? Like I don't think that. I'm convinced it's just that Harry Kane has said, "Can I sacrifice my bonus for scoring all those goals? Can you bring me a toy to play with? I need a kid. I need a friend.
I need a friend. Yeah. Phone a friend." Like a very expensive pen pal. Again, they're probably going to give him the executive suite at the Hotel Marriott, wherever they're staying. You're probably going to get to stay in the executive right next to Harry Kane. So for Eric Dier, he's like, I'll sign a 1 year, 6 months, 2 weeks, whatever you want, as long as I go get to eat some of that fancy schnitzel.
Oh, if you're Eric Dier, you're taking this right now.
Oh yeah.
Happily. Like,
apparently, what I read in the summer, Tuchel was trying to go for Eric Dier in the summer, but Eric Dier wanted a 3-year contract, which is insane to me that this guy would go to Bayern Munich and say, "Give me a 3-year, or you ain't getting no Eric Dier." That seems very bold. Again, he has captained his Sam, so if you want a guy who's captained a Premier League side to be. You're shaking your head. Again, I'm torn because publicly I want to big it up and say, like, come on, Thomas Tuchel, that's what I'm talking about. You're really helping out Bayern here. Because I don't want to go and put too much eggs in the basket of like, haha, we swindled them. It hasn't been completed yet. Until then that's the thing we're all going around. Like,
yeah. I see what you're doing. Just on the off chance that Thomas Tuchel is watching right now. No, I mean, we're going to miss him so much, Thomas. It's it's with a heavy.
He's
heart
over 6 foot. Aerially, he's there. And again, a low block, like you're saying, you need a guy who'll stand there and look like a defender. He will do that. But once you ask him to turn and kind of pivot, that's where whoa, easy now. But all the rest, hey, by the paper form of Eric Dier, you could see I could see a way to sell this guy, but. I don't know how you make a compilation make him looking good. That's a mad Photoshop edit. Like, when the magazine cover to like the actual photo.
Mate. It was impressive. The only thing is you could see how long he had to go back because of the shirts that we were wearing in each of the clips. Like you have to go back like 6-7 years to get some of that to find in a 2-minute clip, a 2-minute montage. They've gone through 6 or 7 different seasons to find the best bits. Quite impressive.
Fair enough.
That's what they did with Davinson Sanchez. They were showing clips from him at Ajax. I was like, what kind of sales pitch is this? He's been with us for 6 years. This is a 7-year-old clip minimum. It's hilarious. But again, let's not laugh yet.
Speaking of having to find the clips, from the old days to prop him up and shit like that, I think that segues us perfectly to the next player we're about to talk about. Who I feel like has actually been the cause of a little bit of a, I'm going to say a little bit because maybe it's just the Spurs fans, that I see on YouTube, currently with the stuff that I'm watching and stuff. But it feels like there's a little bit of a civil war here. Do we just back Ange Postecoglou blindly? Or do we actually say like, yo, this is a crazy signing? Just to kind of continue on the theme of craziness in this whole transfer window thing, guys. Timo Werner is going to be joining Tottenham Hotspur on loan, which is also quite a crazy thing to say.
Timo.
Oh my God.
Timo.
Let me just go to the realistic guy first. Go on, Sean.
Okay, so what I was thinking when it comes down, you said the realistic guy. They said realistic balance. These are all Timo Werner. That's not balance.
I know, I'm aboard it. I did a video earlier about this. I think it's the most logical thing to do. Look, Tottenham need a new striker. obviously we haven't replaced Harry Kane, but January is a very difficult market, and it's a transfer. Or we're looking for a player in a position that's in high demand and very, very short supply. There's not enough out there, and if you want to do it in January, you're going to have to pay 50-60% over market value for anyone that is there. For me, it's a case of kicking the can down the road until you're into a more suitable environment, which will be the summer. And I think that with Tottenham's scenario, with our situation, with regard, Sonny's not here for the next 4 or 5 weeks. Richarlison's our last recognised striker. After him, you got Alejo Veliz that's out for 2 months already.
Minimum.
Dane Scarlett,
he had major ligament damage.
Yeah, if something was to happen to Richarlison or Sonny, then you've got Dane Scarlett, who failed basically at Portsmouth last season in the League One, couldn't really do anything, and then went to Ipswich this year and hasn't kicked the 150 minutes. So we need a solution. But for me, I worry sometimes with Tottenham Tottenham have got a history of panic buying when injuries or absentees are a short term issues, but you need to get things done because opportunities present themselves in this season. And I worry that Tottenham would go out and spend a lot of money and commit themselves to 4 or 5 year contracts on players that are not really what we're looking for part of the project. I worry that Tottenham were going to do it with Calvin Phillips. I worry that Tottenham were going to do it with Jota. And I'm like, if you want these players, cool, but let's do a try before you buy. Let's loan them. I think Timo Werner, I think he was a really good player. Timo. Obviously, Chelsea didn't work out at Chelsea. It hasn't really worked out since he's gone back. But ultimately, if you zoom out and look at his career, he gets a GA 2 out of every 3 games. I think he suits the system. And I think he's better than Richarlison at pretty much everything that Richarlison's not good at. This guy's better at. And I think he can play in a bunch of different positions. So for me, in a nutshell, I don't think he's the long-term solution, but it's a cheap option, gives us a little bit of cover, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
What JJ here is saying Timo to Spurs is the equivalent of Havertz to Arsenal. All the Chelsea leftovers. I hear what you're saying regarding.
Yeah, but we didn't spend 65 million on it. We're loaning.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Obviously, the money spent matters. People always like to act like
it's better business than that.
It does matter. And if we're talking from a purely business perspective, then doing a 6 month loan obviously is smart. The one thing I will say though is he banged in Germany even before Chelsea bought him. So he usually does do well in Germany, but the question then becomes, is he even suited to the Premier League game? Because he might be in terms of pace, he's probably got the pace, but it's all the other things.
What are the good things that he did for Chelsea? Think about the good things that he did do for Chelsea when he was in the Premier League. He did get into dangerous spaces. He did open up a lot of space. He does threaten a back line, for better or worse. Maybe he's not going to... It could just be a German Brennan Johnson that's older we just got. That might be what it is. But honestly... y'all know on this channel I like to reference the Alamo. How am I going to be upset when the Alamo get a couple reinforcements? Come on in and fight with us, boys. It's time to strap in. And Timo Werner at least is a guy who's shown us before that he can hang out in the Alamo with us. We're not this I think Ange Postecoglou always says that he likes players who can play versatile. He likes players who have a strong character. Timo Werner was very widely abused the entire time he was here in England. So I think for this guy's standpoint, I think he's mentally the kind of guy who can withstand a little bit of things not going his way. And you know what? What better than a guy to give to Ange Postecoglou, a guy who has been, let's say, scorned by the Premier League. Maybe he comes back with something to prove. An angry Timo Werner? I don't know. Or we're going to get the Timo Werner from the skit where that guy's juggling the ball, kicks it to him, and he skies it over the futsal goal. Who knows what we're going to get? But one thing I do know we're going to get is a guy who will make runs in behind, who will threaten a back line. And at the end of the day, that's going to create opportunities for potentially someone. And like everything Sean said, I agree with. Those are the reasons why it makes sense as a good signing. Because it's also 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. What else are we
if he comes in here and just runs like a headless chicken and is the Timo Werner we all made fun of, I made fun of. But when he signed for Chelsea, I was genuinely concerned. I was jealous. I was like, wow, this guy in the Bundesliga is actually tearing it up. He looks like a great prospect as a potential winger. He's versatile, can play through the middle as well. And And then we saw what he did with Chelsea, and it was, of course, I laughed at it, and it was great. Yes, Surfer, hold that. Just wait till he dunks on your head. I can't wait. If we get him and he plays versus Chelsea, he's gonna absolutely dunk on your head. Surfer, I'm gonna need you to get out your Timo Werner kit. I know you got one out there in that kitchen. You be whispering in, you fraud. But anyway,
I should got a Chelsea fan on the stream, Loki. Now I'm thinking about it. I should add a Chelsea fan just to let us know his thoughts on.
Hey, you can send it to Surfer.
Right.
Absolute fraud. I know he'll tell me a million reasons why he's shit, but.
The biggest, like this kind of justification of the transfer for me, for all the reasons I've already mentioned, I'm cool with it. But the other thing I didn't mention is what else are we gonna do? Right? There's no strikers available that you can go and do good business with in January. It's impossible. Everyone's sniffing around. You're not going to get an Ivan Toney because Brentford are in a relegation scrap. I'd be surprised if anyone if he goes. You're not going to get.
But why don't you get Ivan Toney? That's the question. Because if Arsenal are struggling financially and Chelsea have to sell players, why don't you go like you both hold that? Here's 100 million Ivan Toney.
I just saw a guy who just started
spending 100 million quid on players, man. That's not
100 million on a player that just came back after 8 months away from the game. I just saw Ryan Sessegnon. He was 8-9 months away from the game. He looked like a thick sausage roll running around out there. He's huffing and puffing. You put me in that double XL, I'll huff and puff like that dude. He didn't even look like he could take the shot physically. Oh my God.
He had to go to the club shop before the game to get an oversized shirt because the one that they put out for him didn't fit. It was that man put some pounds, bro. Yeah. But listen, I don't know what else you do. I think Timo Werner, Tottenham of that.
He helps us from starting. He helps us from getting away from a Sessegnon playing, and I'm okay with that. I think Werner over Sessegnon, yes. Sessegnon was our left wing option off the bench. Also, could he offer us more than Bryan Hill? I think he could. The upside is there. That's why I'm not upset about it. I think that there's a lot of reasons why this could. It's very low risk. Like if it doesn't work, okay, we send you back to Leipzig, have a good time. And if it does work, I think it's 15-20 mil to buy him. So it's really cheap if he does bang. Again, Ange Postecoglou has a way of bringing the mentality out of these guys. Shout out Christian Romero.
We got big money.
200 grand a week.
Mr. the Prince of Jordan, and then the next one is Mr.
165.
The Princess of Jordan. Donna, if I was the Prince of Jordan, I obviously wouldn't be on fucking YouTube talking football, would I? Like, think about it logically over here, Donna. Like, okay, I wish I was the prince, but I'm not the prince because I wouldn't be live on YouTube, But I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chats and the consistent flirting every time I appear on a channel, driving me away.
Don't open that door. Donna Cohen is a thirsty old bat.
Yeah, she thirsty.
100%. And speaking of, she's saying, Mr. Butler, can you play Titanic song on the guitar? I think that's a reference to you, Sean. But hey, big up to you, Donna. But this is not the X Factor. This is football. So like and subscribe. And just before we carry on, guys, there's 420 people in here. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribing to This Is Football. Big up to you, Donna. Big up to JJ and big up to Aaron for the super chats. Guys, we need to get the likes up. Stop moving like a bunch of frauds in the chat. 450 people in here. We need to be on 200 likes minimum. So hit that like button.
Bunch of frauds in the chat. Hold that.
So the time that Timo Werner spent at Chelsea, that doesn't worry you guys at all. That doesn't put a doubt in me, because Hannah here, she mentioned something. I think this is a fair comment, to be honest with you. The Dominic Solanke thing. You don't think Solanke is someone who you could be getting in, even for the long term? To be fair,
80 million quid, 70 million quid. I don't think Bournemouth want to sell him, but I think if the fact that he's going to have the homegrown tax and he's also going to have the striker tax, it's going to work as a multiplier. You're going to get someone like him. He's only worth 35 million. Let's be honest. Like Solanke hasn't done it. Apart from this season,
we sold them for 30.
Did you sell him for 30 million? Did you?
We're very good at selling. Let me tell you. Now. He's 26.
I don't think he's worth anything like what people will pay for him. I do like Solanke, but I don't think Bournemouth would let him go anyway. But I just think January is a difficult window to do business for big. Like who was the last massive name, like giant signing transfer that happened across the Premier League in a January transfer window?
Oh shit!
Best right back in the league, Pedro Porro, maybe is the first one I think of.
No, don't even go with that.
Shout out João Felix. Every single time.
Yeah, probably João Felix on loan. You could say Diaz when you guys done all the work and then we just stole him at the end.
Ronaldo going back to United was a big deal.
Virgil
that
van
wasn't
Dijk.
January.
Virgil van Dijk probably was the
Oh
biggest
yeah, that's
name.
right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Van Dijk. That's fair.
But there's not a lot, is there? Let's be honest. There's not a lot of major transfers that happen in January. Difficult.
Fair. I think like look, it really depends. It just depends what like what's available right now. Look, I think this makes sense more from a business perspective than it does from a. People are saying Bruno Guimaraes. That's fair. But he did say big transfers. Bruno before he came in was not looked at as he's looked at now. So like it's not a hindsight thing. I think it's more,
Hold that mic, Doss, you fraud, fake mustache looking guy. That's why he reps Tom Selleck, because he ain't got no photos of him with that fake mustache on. His glue must
have you ever seen
melted
Tom
off his
Selleck and
face.
Mike Dutt in the same room? That's all I'm gonna ask.
No, you haven't.
If the answer is no, then you have your answer.
I sure haven't. I'll tell you that much.
So you guys ain't worried about him. She is 30er than you, Hannah, because that last super chat ain't no way I'm gonna read that out. I'm just put it on the screen for 3 seconds and then just remove it. But
this man has a family, Donna.
Appreciate you, Donna. You get me. Anyway, back to the question. So his time in the Premier League doesn't worry you guys at all? The fact that
I wasn't like close enough to the story at the time to kind of inquire as to why he didn't work out at Chelsea. Is it because he didn't like the manager? Did he not settle in the UK? Was it the Premier League just was a different pace from what he's good at? I don't know why it didn't work out there. If it's one of the things that won't have changed, then it's a problem. But if he just didn't like the system, didn't like the football, didn't like the manager, who was the last? Again, I'll ask another question. What was the last striker since Didier Drogba? How many strikers have worked out at Chelsea?
Diego Costa, I think, is fair.
Okay, and how long a period is that?
I think.
When did Drogba leave Chelsea?
He left like probably after the Bayern final, so maybe like around 10 years ago, something like that. Okay. 10, 11 years. In 10 years,
there's been one okay, successful striker. So maybe the idea of striker at Chelsea is a poison chalice, and it doesn't necessarily mean that he's a bad player. It's maybe that most strikers at Chelsea don't work out for some reason.
It's
I would also say this.
Am I clutching at straws there? Am I clutching at straws with that?
You are clutching low key because we all saw him miss those chances. We all saw him miss those chances.
Yeah, we did.
Fair enough, with Chelsea and strikers, I do think there is some sort of voodoo and over their strikers and stuff. But we did see him miss all these tap-ins. I saw that, with my own eyes.
We were talking earlier about how you can make anything look good on YouTube. If you type in Timo Werner on YouTube, and then you get the extended answers. Before you get highlights or best bits, you get misses. That's the first thing that comes up on YouTube. So even YouTube can't make Werner look like a world superstar. That to me worries me a little bit. But I
like the notion that my manager ain't supposed to call glue. I like the notion that this guy said, not only can I get Richarlison to score goals, I'm going to go grab someone everyone was laughing at a couple years. I'm going to get him to score goals as well. If he does this, what a masterclass. Give him manager of the month again. It would be the 4th one this season, but he deserves it if he gets Werner scoring. Hey, he talked to me nicely. Everyone's going to be talking to me in the chat like, oh, I can't believe Timo's scoring again. Yeah, hold that. Every single fraud. Elder, that's why you old. And also, Eric Toe keeps calling me a fraud. That's why your last name is something that is on my feet. I got 10 of them. I got 10 toes. All right, hold that. Okay. But I'm not concerned about Timo Werner.
So, Jacob, back to the original question, you fraud. Does it not worry at all his time in the Premier League?
No, if anything, I think it's a better thing than him not having it at all. And yes, it was a little bit of a laughingstock and an embarrassment, maybe more than a little. But I would say it's better to have had him swim in the ocean than throw him in there for the first time versus Manchester United. At least he's played United before. At least he's played a lot of these sides before. He's gone to these venues and played ball. Maybe not the best, maybe not the most admirably, but it's at least experience.
Referencing this game,
14th. We play him on the 14th. Absolutely gonna cook those frogs.
I thought there was supposed to be no Premier League next week.
On the 14th.
Other than technically, I think only
everyone's got their 10-game. Everyone's got their 10-day break spread over 2 weeks. So Arsenal are playing next week, but Tottenham are, and then we get 2 weeks off after that.
You play United next week at Old Trafford, and then there's Newcastle. Come on, Newcastle, man. Anyway, okay, fair enough. I think you guys have made very fair points regarding this whole Timo Werner situation. We all know who this is, but big up to Timo, who says, Mr. Jacob, you're a supportive man. I like you. Here we go now.
Hey, I'll defend you even if you're a Schnitzel eater. I'll defend you to the hills if you're a Tottenham Hotspur player.
Fair.
If you have a reason to be defended. Until he goes out there and gives me 3 stinkers, then once he does that, then I'll be like, get out of here, you fraud. This Chelsea reject. But if not, I'm going to tell him everyone can hold that, especially.
Bissouma's given you 3 stinkers and you still defend him.
How many goals and assists do you think he needs to, how many GAs does he need to contribute the next 6 months to make it a success?
In the next
next 4 months, whatever.
Yeah. How many Premier League games have we got left? Let's say
18, 17.
Yeah, we've got 18 Premier League games left. I think if he scores 8 goals, I'd consider it a success. Because you do have easy fixtures as well, like games like Burnley, stuff like that. You'd expect him to score goals in them games. I think that's fair. I don't think 8 goals in 19 is asking
goals or GA, because he might be playing out on the left.
See, that's the thing. Context matters here. It depends. By the way, when it comes to like the time that Son isn't there, I think the time that when Son isn't there versus the time that when Son is there are 2 completely different contexts for Timo Werner. Because if he scores goals when Son ain't there, then he's basically done what he's brought in to do. No, like
100%. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I think the first 6 weeks, first 4 or 5 weeks for him is his most important. So and he's a confidence player as well. So if he comes in and hits the ground running, everything's great for him. Everything's great for us because we need him now. When Sonny gets back, then there's the kind of
what? All Werner has to do is come in and hit a brace, and he already has equaled Martinelli's entire Premier League season. So we'll be okay. I think we'll be all right. Everyone in the chat getting all worked up. How many goals does Gabriel Jesus have? If both of them added up, Gabriel Jesus' goals and Gabriel Martinelli's goals can't add up and be more than Richarlison, everyone can hold that. And if Timo, again, I guess, look, the standard of wingers in the Premier League is very low if we're allowing Gabriel Martinelli to play consecutively, week on week on, and he ain't doing nothing but just dribble. There you go.
How many has Diaz got in the league this year? 2, 3?
Luis Diaz?
Yeah, Luis Diaz, yeah.
I don't know.
Luis Diaz got, I think, 3 goals. Yeah, 3 goals this season.
Not great either.
Oh, Diaz is having a horrible year. I've never denied that. I think he's only had, let me double check. I think it's only 3, no? Yeah.
Actually, that's a low blow, by the way. You're a fraud for that. That's a low blow. We love you, Chewy.
Big up to you, Gal in the chat. He says Timo is not a finisher. He's like Nunez, second striker or winger, just shoots. That's all. Fair enough, Gal. Fair enough. I hear you, my brother.
Again, but if he can do some of the things that people say that is good about Darwin Núñez in his first 2 seasons, was he's a chaos creator. He causes havoc in the back line. And that's kind of what we need is someone, when you look at us, a lot of times when we're trying to break down a low block, we're very stale. And we move the ball left to right with no real insight. If this guy's just running around like a headless chicken, someone's got to cover him. And eventually that'll open something up. I'm hopeful that this guy's energy and work rate will be enough to compensate for his lack of finishing.
Wow.
I think, look, here's the thing.
What? Why you say wow, Jacob, Sean? Why you say wow?
No, I'll tell you why. By the way,
the strongest argument is that he's a chaos merchant. Like that's not very.
It's not good, but sometimes, hey, look how many GA does Núñez have Jacob, as a chaos merchant? What?
Bro, that's not a good argument. That's not a good argument, Jacob. Talking about like chaos, like it's a good thing. You fucking fraud. Like,
bro, we just need 6 months of chaos. 6 months of chaos.
Okay.
What's wrong with 6 months of a little chaos?
Because I want to touch on Ange as well. You get me? I want to talk about this Ange thing because people have been saying like, okay, just because Ange wants him doesn't mean he's 100% right. I feel like that's kind of the next topic for us here. Jacob kind of spoke on it a little bit. But by the way, just before we carry on, 450 people in the building. Keeps increasing, you guys. So big up to you guys. You guys enjoying this Tottenham content. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. As we said, we want to get to 200 likes. I think we're only 5 likes away now. So please like the video, subscribe. Big up to Aaron, Donna, and JJ for the super chats. Big up to you guys. So please like and subscribe. So with the thing that Jacob just said. This is exactly why Timo Werner won't work at Tottenham Hotspur. He just contradicted himself. Timo Werner is not a low block striker. Timo Werner is a counter-attack striker.
Right.
So that's
I didn't say as a striker, by the way. I didn't say as a striker.
Doesn't matter. Striker or winger is even worse, by the way. Just so you know. Winger is even worse.
I'm saying the things that I've seen him do good at, if he could do those to help us break down low blocks, then what are we losing out on?
Okay, but I don't think he can help you break down low blocks. That's my argument. Because Ange now has to figure out a way to get you to beat low blocks consistently. Because people, like, I'm not going to say Spurs are
Or just find a way to open a door. Once you open the door, you can't stop the air from getting inside.
Here we go. Mr. the Alamo. Okay, Jacob.
Open
when it
the
comes
door.
to, I'm talking tactically here. Look, when it comes to Ange Postecoglou, this fraud, man. When it comes to Ange Postecoglou, he has to figure out a way to consistently beat low blocks. I'm not going to say, like, obviously Spurs are not respected like a Liverpool or City where teams are just going to fucking park the bus all the way through. Like, they will have a bit more confidence, like, we could get something here type shit. But if you are trying to figure out a low block, I think Timo Werner is actually probably the worst type because it's just his main strength, in my opinion, is his pace. I think he's very quick, obviously. That's his main strength. Physical attributes more than footballing attributes. So if you're trying to break down a low block, I think Werner works against you.
But we don't need individual.
You don't need him for every game, do you? Right? He's an option.
And we're not asking for individual brilliance. When we score our goals, outside of Pedro Porro's wonder strike yesterday, we don't rely on individual brilliance. Our goals are teamwork goals, counter, but still via the team. It's not just one guy picking it up, carrying it. Mbappe. We don't operate with one person carrying the team. We're not asking him to carry the front line. We're asking him to accent it, open. Again, when you're taking over a building, all you got to do is find one open door. Just go around the building, find one open door. And if Timo Werner can help us find that door quicker or find it himself, then that's 6 months worth of a loan I'm willing to spend. 165 a week. We were spending that on Hugo and Dier.
Yeah.
I think we'd be all right. The money, I ain't concerned about the money. I think it's win-win, low risk. I don't know what the problem is.
We got.
I know everyone wants to laugh. Oh, it's Spurs doing Timo Werner. Remember Timo Werner? I mean, hey,
let him laugh, Jacob. Let him laugh, bro.
Bro, it's never bothered me. Everyone in this chat's an absolute fraud because they don't even like the video anyway. So
we'll be the last one laughing when Timo Werner's holding up the FA Cup in May.
Oh my God!
Could you imagine Timo Werner game winner versus Chelsea or Arsenal in the final?
Yeah, he's gonna go.
And guess what he does? He breaks down the low block. Talk to me nicely,
also,
Hussam.
Jacob, so you have Arsenal beating us tomorrow?
No, I don't. I personally, what I selfishly want is a draw. So y'all have to play each other again. I think that would be more fun for me.
Happen. I think you already know that. You already know.
And that's my prediction. That's my hope. But if I had to choose a winner, of course, I would like y'all to go out there and stomp them 4-0, embarrass all of them, have Gabriel Jesus crying at full time. I want it all. Inject it. I would never, I know what you said about Sean, and I think that's blasphemous from Sean, but I would never in any situation ever root for Arsenal to win, even when it was beneficial for us in some kind of table standings. I don't give a damn. I don't want Arsenal to ever win.
The only reason I said that I want Arsenal to win because Hussam's a fraud is because he came into Henry's chat frauding me off. He called me a fraud. I thought I called him a fraud back. Ultimately,
no, because you were talking about phases. I'm like, why are you doing the Arsenal thing?
That's exactly right.
Arsenal thing?
Yeah, but they're at stage 4, and we are at the infancy of our process, our project.
No, they're in phase 7.5.
I've got a big enough vocabulary to slot in different words.
If you use the word stage, you're like, I hate doing the phases thing, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Arsenal are in the 4th phase, and we're in the 1st phase. I'm like, oh, there's no way you just done the phases thing. That's an Arsenal thing, and you just done the Arsenal thing.
Section 1. We are section 1 of a 4-section process.
We're in the table of contents right now, just seeing what the book's got to offer.
Chapter by chapter, we're getting through it. No, but listen, it doesn't matter to me because there's frauds in the Liverpool fan base that I can cook tomorrow if Arsenal win, and there's a lot of frauds in the Arsenal fan base that I'm happy to cook tomorrow should Liverpool win, and I'll cook all of you if it's a draw. Because
by the way, I think if we lose, like, it's not that big of a deal. I'll be real with you because we're in the Carabao Cup semi-final and we're in the Europa League that I expect us to win. I think we'll win minimum 2 trophies this season. So genuinely, by the way, all pressure's on Arsenal tomorrow. 100%.
You're not confident about the league?
No, I'm not. I think the only way we win the league is if we sign players in January. That's the thing. I don't think we can.
What do you need? Right now. What do you need in January? Do you think are you looking for Kimmich maybe coming in for Liverpool? Is that what Eric Dier's move is?
If
Eric
y'all got
Dier's
Kimmich, y'all can go win this league right now. You get Kimmich as your 6. I've always said, remember what I said in the beginning of the season, Sam, is I think Liverpool's main hindrance is that you're starting a guy at a 6 that is not a natural 6 in McAllister. And not that he's unable to do it. I mean, he's okay, but you need a legitimate, like, I remember saying, if y'all did that Caicedo deal like everyone thought y'all would.
I think that centre back would probably a bigger priority for us. But anyway, listen, this is about Spurs. I'm here to ask questions. So, speaking of ask questions, Postecoglou. By the way, I just want to say something. This is the first time this season I'm going to defend Postecoglou because I think he's a little bit of a media whore, low-key. But I will defend him here. You know, today I watched the clip where they ask him, like, do you ever envision yourself winning trophies? And I'm like, this is exactly why people are no longer listening to the media and they're just watching YouTube and content creators because of dumb shit like this. So the guy that asked him the question, you could not do 30 seconds research. Just go to Ange Postecoglou Wikipedia page and find out that he's actually won actual trophies. And it's such snobby, smug shit to act like anything won outside of England doesn't matter. Obviously, he's won stuff, man. Like, he's been a manager 30 fucking years. He's got many honors. Like, it's just so weird when I see stuff like that. Like, come on, you guys work in the media. Do your job properly, at least. But with Ange, this obviously is a player that he wants. There's been heavy criticism. I'm gonna let Sean start a bit on this one because Jacob's gonna give me a poetic speech about the Alamo now. So, with the whole Ange situation, where do you sit with Ange, with him wanting Werner? If it doesn't work out, shall he get criticized? Expectations this season, just generally about your manager.
Yeah, do you know what, mate? Like, I really like him. I do. I like his honesty. I like his kind of personality. I like his football. But there is a problem in the Tottenham fan base, in my opinion, that if something goes wrong and you criticize him, then you're tagged by fans who think that he can't do any wrong. He's infallible, like he's the Pope or whatever. And it's a madness. I think some of his in-game management is really poor. I think some of his substitutions leave a lot to be desired. And I actually think some of his press conferences, he comes across as really sort of like snarky. I think that the one you're talking about specifically, I think he was right to have a crack back. But the one yesterday, he called out, he said that the guy, don't question my integrity, mate, about when the guy was talking about Eric Dier, unnecessarily trying to kind of go after the some of the reporters. I'm not like, I really do like
English media is fraudulent. How we all know this. How are you going to be upset that he's like, quit questioning my integrity, you absolute fraud?
He didn't question his integrity, though. The guy was like, is he injured? He goes, yeah, he's injured. He goes, okay, so it's got nothing to do with, like, two things can be true at the same time. Like, he was just asking a follow-up question, right? And the guy, he went after him, accusing him of
we just came back. How angry were you? No, don't do that. How angry were you after our match? Imagine being the manager of that. He was angry after our match. Of course, he's in a pissed off mood. And then you start poking the bear. What you gonna get? Bear claw. And I ain't talking about donuts.
I like how Sean described like people who can't take Ange criticism, and then he's sitting right next
Exhibit to A, right? Exhibit A. Yeah.
He's sitting right next to her, right there. And unapologetically, he'll tell you, he'll defend Ange. It's just everything. Like,
what am I gonna be again? Hey. It's not this like you're not allowed to. If anyone who subscribes to United Spurs of America has ever heard me speak on it, I've always said that he's not immune to criticism. I critique him when he does poorly as well. In-game management, poke holes in it. His substitutions, poke holes in it. I get that. And I that's what we're supposed to do, right? As content creators, we're supposed to try and look at this from the most unbiased perspective. And I do, it's not like I don't allow that. I don't think it's a bad thing to do. I just personally, when it comes down to it, all the things that people seem to poke holes at him for, I just
okay. Let me ask you a question then. Was he correct to take off Lo Celso and leave on Ollie Skip yesterday?
Lo Celso was hurt. We don't even know if he's going to play versus United.
Why leave?
So, yeah, he was right.
Why not put Ollie Skip back into the 6 and move Bentancur into the 8? We needed creativity. Ollie Skip can't pass the ball. Put him in the 6. You're playing against Burnley. Burnley didn't do anything going forward unless we lost the ball And in that scenario, Ollie Skip would have been better in the 6. There was enough in-game management, poor choices in that game alone to sit there and say that Ange can be critiqued. But if you do it, I'm not saying you, but if you do it, you say it on your channel, you get 20% of the audience that come in and just call you a fraud because you dare to challenge the great man, the infallible one, which is Ange Postecoglou. And I think it's just,
he is the great man.
It's annoying. It's annoying that people,
my manager,
like, you think that his shit don't stink, and it's not true. He's not perfect. He's going to make decisions. Just like people say, if Ange wants him, I want him. When it comes to players, there's no analysis there. There's no research. It's basically, oh, we've been linked with this guy. Well, if Ange wants him, he's good enough for me. You know what? Why not have an opinion based on what you think of the player rather than just worrying whether Ange likes him or not? Because Ange will make mistakes as well. All managers do. No one gets 100% transfer activity, right? So people that don't ever want to say anything negative or critique or analyze, I think it's lazy and it's frustrating.
Maya here is saying, big up Maya. She says, I think that the media treat Ange disrespectfully. Do you guys agree with that?
I agree with that. Yeah.
No.
I think the question regarding the whole trophy thing was disrespectful. I'll be honest with you.
Bro, but that's the thing, is since he's got here, they've been disrespectful. I don't think they treat
him disrespectfully. I think that's cap, because the first 3 months, all
no, since he got here, it's been disrespectful. The moment he walked in, what are you going to do without Harry Kane? What are you going to do without Harry Kane? Is once he started winning, everyone talked to him nicely, and then he lost a couple of games, and then what did they do? Switched on him again. I guess they aren't. I guess they are still this and that, whatever the things they want to tell us. Again, this guy, from the moment he's walked in, has been under scrutiny from the media. When he does well, they talk.
Jacob, now you lying.
Bro, what happened in the summer? Was Harry Kane, our talisman, not leaving? And was he also not having to deal with questions every single day about Harry Kane? Not about him, not about him building his squad.
If Mo Salah left Liverpool, Klopp wouldn't answer questions every day. He would. It happens. That's just normal.
Bro, Klopp's been there. How long did Klopp manage Salah? Completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant.
First of all, you need to
Ainge met the dude 2 weeks in, and then they're talking about this and that with him.
He's been a manager for 30 years. He's been managing since
How long did he manage Harry Kane, though? How long did he manage England's captain?
If you're the Spurs manager, you're going to answer questions about Harry Kane wanting to leave, because that's the biggest story of the
right.
season.
And when the media shows up with a Harry Kane Bayern Munich jersey when he's still about to go play in a preseason match for us, that's not disrespectful.
I just said the trophy thing that I saw yesterday was disrespectful, because the guy could have just done literally 2-minute research and known that Ainge has won stuff before joining.
But that's my point. Is things like that have occurred since he's got here?
The first 3 months of the season, all we heard was Ainge prop. So like,
because we were winning.
Okay, and when you're losing,
media talk nicely when you're winning, and when you're losing,
and when you're losing, it has to be held accountable.
Yeah,
right. But you don't have to be held accountable disrespectfully. It's the same thing I was on this very channel arguing with Mo about.
I that's the only disrespectful thing that I've heard, and I wouldn't even call it disrespectful. I think the guy wasn't suggesting that he hasn't won. I think he was just talking about. I didn't see it that way. And I do think the guy was a donut, like an absolute moron, because he kept doubling down. Kind of, yeah, I know you've won, but what I mean is, like, you know, and he wouldn't take it that he'd made a mistake in his own questioning, and then Ange went at him 4 or 5 more times. But even if that was we'll call it disrespectful. That's the only thing I've heard that's been disrespectful. Everything else has been there's been a lot of I don't know. I think there's been quite a lot of sycophants, if I'm entirely honest, over the last couple of months for him. So I don't think he gets a hard time. I think he gets a good ride.
Thank you, 100%. I think he gets praised by the media. If anything, I don't think he gets a hard time at all. To be honest with you, I think the media probably do too much Ainge prop. If anything, like, they need to calm down. They gave him manager of the month 3 times. Did not deserve it every month. Let's just get that out there. Big up to you, Maya. Big up to Honesty says, breaking news. Hendo wants to leave Saudi League, and LFC is looking at the opportunity, and also LFC sees Olise is the salary replacement, so they want to trigger the 40 million release clause. You know, when it comes to the first half, you know, of that super chat regarding Henderson returning, I would rather than see Henderson back at Liverpool ever again. I'd literally,
you did that on purpose.
I'd literally rather. If you can read my lips, you can read my lips. That's all I'm saying. And when it comes to the second part, listen, if we look at Olise is the long-term salary replacement, and he could come in and he can make a positive impact, then you know, fair enough. But I've always said this. Look, if Jurgen Klopp sits down with Olise, he's going to go like, By the way, Michael Olise, when Mo Salah goes to AFCON, you're going to be starting for us. But as soon as he comes back, you're going to be holding bench. Like, obviously, Olise is going to be like, no, I want to go to the AFCON. I want to go to the Euros, and not just play when Salah's at AFCON. I want to be the mainstay of the team. So, or actually,
when Salah leaves, though, I don't know how long he's got left on his contract, or because there was the rumors last year that he was going to be part of a massive bid to go to Saudi, right? If any of that was to materialize, the one player I think that would really suit Liverpool and look great in a Liverpool shirt is Jarrod Bowen. Do you reckon there's any chance? Would you like Jarrod Bowen at Liverpool?
I think that the club look at him as the Salah replacement, in my opinion. But the only difference I'd say is it depends of the age. Because now he's a lot older, and usually we like to sign like maybe in the 24, 23, 25 range. If he's 28 and above, so I doubt they're going to be taking that risk. But thank you, Honesty, for the super chat. And by the way, all the 450 of you guys in here, don't forget to come back at 11 p.m. because we are going to be doing the 25K Q&A. I see all the guys in the chat congratulating me about it. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to be sitting down and talking about YouTube in general, my fellow content creators, just this whole journey, like generally. So now that we've established that Ange doesn't get cooked by the media, like the fraud in the top left is trying to suggest, and fraud in the chat, Maya.
Y'all lying. Y'all are lying, but we can move along for the sake of this show.
Name 3 times Ange was disrespected. I dare you.
Harry Kane this weekend, the weekend before that, after we dropped, after Chelsea, I could keep going, but you said Chelsea, 3.
He was disrespected.
Yeah, he was.
He was
absolutely disrespected.
4-1 at home.
Again, when Pablo Picasso paints something and people are like, I don't think that's art, I would say, I don't think you're looking at it correctly.
What? What are you talking, Jacob? You're never like this on my channel. Is this like a different version of Jacob? You wear many hats, do you, Jacob? You go on other channels, you act like frauds.
Hey, when I am poked and prodded, I will reply with what I believe to be the whole truth, nothing but the truth. All right, and that's what I'm here doing. Again, I don't know, Sean.
Try any of that shit because I've been here before. I'm a professional. This is what I do.
Jacob, can you now stop fucking around? You know that Ange Postecoglou is glazed over by the media, if anything. They don't attack him. They defend him.
They do. You asked for 3 examples. Jacob, I provided 6 in 5 seconds.
Jacob, you lost 4-1 to Chelsea at home, and people are doing Ange prop. Don't come up here and lie, you fraud. Look at this fraud. Man, like,
Who was doing that? What media? Was BBC doing that? Was Sky Sports doing that? One guy, Gary Neville, who honestly shits all over Spurs all over the time. But this one time he says, no, because he's just a contrarian for the big media. That's all it is. When everyone said this, here's Mr. Neville. Oh, I wasn't in David Beckham's shadow. Hold that.
David Beckham's shadow. He was a right back. They were playing on the same side.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. A shadow. He literally would be in the shadow when the sun's shining on him. So hold that, you fraud, Gary Neville.
There's just no stopping this man today. Listen, finally, last but not least, I don't want to keep you guys for too long. Last topic of the day. Man like Dragusin. There's been... by the way, before we get there, guys, like, subscribe, as always. You guys already know the message. With the Dragusin transfer, there's been talks, okay, do Spurs need a centre-back as well? With Eric Dier leaving, you get me? The Eric Dier replacement, if you would like. What do you guys make of the whole Dragusin / centre-back situation for Spurs?
You don't get the name Rad Dude for no reason. I'll start there and I'll throw it to Sean.
I mean, I can't compete with this top-notch analysis. It's absolutely sensational. I don't know
why you said I don't ever act like this on your channel. I'm very shameless on your channel as well.
No, I think you've got a little bromance. I think you've got you're a little smitten with Hussam. It's very sweet. It's very sweet. You put on a different kind of style to it. It's quite
really
lovely.
It is what this chat the first time I ever streamed with Hussam's show, the chat, I was just like it was just so funny. The chat's so funny. So they rile me up and they bring out a different a different animal. But yeah, you're right.
The chat have the biggest love-hate relationship with any panelist with Jacob on the stream. They love him 100% and hate him 100%.
Yeah,
it depends.
They
what
love that
Jacob
they hate me.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, if Arsenal lose to Liverpool, this guy is probably going to deliver one of the worst cookings ever to the Arsenal rep that we have. So then they love him, you know. But if Liverpool do lose, and then Jacob's doing the fraudulent shit,
shout out Joel
then it's a
Matip.
long day.
Yeah. They don't like it when I say
like
shout out Joel Matip. They don't like that. The chat really don't like that.
There you are.
Okay.
There you are.
Cheers.
See?
No, I'm gonna have to watch more of this. Do you guys have like a regular thing every week?
We have a regular panel.
Do you have like after the stream, when the stream's finished, do you guys just sit there and have like drink a cup of coffee and shoot the shit and stuff?
Usually after Ahwa, if no one has to go, we do sit down and speak for like 20 minutes to be fair. So
it's so sweet. It's a lovely little thing. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I'm gonna keep digging away in the comments as well.
So Sean, now we can get actual analysis on Dragusin.
Yeah, Dragusin, look, he's a defender. He's a defender's defender. If you like a defender to defend, then he's the guy. Good in the air, he's strong. He's capable. He's quick. He's deceptively quick. He doesn't look that quick, but he is quicker than you think. He can do everything that you want a defender to do. I have concerns about his ability to break the line, to pass the ball short. I think he doesn't zip the ball around fast enough. I do think he likes to ping. We call him Lord of the Pings. He loves to ping the ball into the channels, which will be helpful. And I'm looking forward to him coming in. Was he my first choice? No. There's other people I'd like in front of him, but for the money, for the valuation, I think that when you then look, if you can keep Romero and Van der Ven fit and you have him in rotation, plus behind him, you've then got 3 young players that are coming up that should be good. I think our defense will be pretty sorted for the next 4 or 5 years and good times. We just got to figure out how to get the deal done because Genoa are playing a little bit hardball on the negotiation, but I expect him to come in. The only concern I have got is that I don't think he's played any high line football. So most of the sample that we've got to analyze him is him playing on the right of a back 3, and Genoa don't really play with a super high line. So question marks are whether he can adapt, but I think he's smart enough to be able to. Pretty good footballing IQ.
So let me ask you, Sean, do you think you need a centre back?
Yeah, 100%.
As in like right now or in the summer?
No, right now. Yeah, because Romero only plays like, if you look at Romero over his whole career, his average is he misses 40% of every season on average.
That's not true. It's not 40.
38, 37, something like that, right?
Yeah, we're not measuring Bass now. Let's call it what it is.
Oh my God! So you stopped Sean over 2%, you fucking Romero.
I think it's actually like 4.5% that he was off by. But yes, if we're gonna use this, he's injured and he's suspended. So let's smush it together and say, here's my narrative against Romero. When they do that, yes, I do bite back. I don't allow this slanderous.
Jacob, what's the exact percentage? Exactly.
I didn't even say it was a bad thing. It wasn't even a criticism. It was an observation. And
can Jacob actually tell me the exact percentage? Oh, I really want to know what's the exact percentage he's missed.
37%. Over the course of his career, on average, he has missed 37% of every season through injury.
37%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if he got a cough, they're using that. If his hamstring got hurt, they're using that. That's what they're using to beat their own player with. I want you to know. Fraudulent.
And then on the other side, you've got a Mickey Van der Ven. See, he won't defend. He won't have a problem with me saying this because he doesn't care. He's not as defensive about Mickey Van der Ven.
Oh, you're going after my son, Mickey.
Van der Ven has suffered his second hamstring injury. People think it's his first hamstring injury. He actually misses his.
I said this is not measuring Bass, Hassam. I said it's not measuring Bass. So by you pulling up this Google search proves you're a fraud. Of course we know 37's closer to 40. What are we talking about? That's why I said it's not. We're not talking about measuring Bass here, all right? But it sounds better when you say 40% versus 36.5, whatever it was. And I think whenever you only did the average for while he was at Spurs. It was like 33.8%, something like that. So this whole thing is just blown out of proportion. Just blown out of proportion. Much like everyone's agenda against Romero. Everyone hates Romero because he's a World Cup winner, because he's successful. All right, everyone.
Moment, Jacob, you massive fraud. It's back. You stopped showing in full flow just to go like, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. And then he's like, oh, it's actually 2% off. It's actually 37%, not 40%. I'm like, bro, there is no way you love Romero that much. Like,
no, he does. He does.
No way.
He does. He almost kicked me off a stream once. This was like, and I'm serious. Like it was. I was on his stream.
I didn't almost kick you off no stream.
No, you were angry, bro. You sulked. You didn't want to talk to me. When I was talking about this was just before the World Cup started. I was like, I got a feeling here that this guy
I remember this.
is not really injured. I think that you're going to see he's going to get to Qatar and he's suddenly going to be available for the pre-season friendlies, the pre-tournament friendlies, right? And I was like, I think he's pulling a fast one because he cares more about his country than he does his club. Like
and
most
guess what?
South Americans do. This guy, nicest guy in the world. I didn't know him like as well as I do now, but all I ever thought of him was sweet, kind, lovely, dulcet, mellifluous tone, speaking voice. I was like, this is a really nice, cool guy. I said that on his stream, not knowing he has this love affair with Romero. Man, the guy gave me the cold shoulder for like 3 weeks. Barely spoke to me. Spoke to me.
Sean's the king of leaving people on red, but he's talking about I barely spoke to him. I do remember this instance. However, Sean conveniently leaving out little bits of truth here. All I did get upset and challenge his notion, which to this day he's still in the mud about. Because Chelsea, if you're saying he cares more about Argentina than he does about Spurs, why was he so dirty and violent versus his other World Cup compadre? Versus Chelsea. So again, negating he's either violent like or the challenge against Chelsea was Enzo Fernandez.
What's that got to do? Hang on, you're saying that he's loyal to Tottenham because he's got an aggressive bozo gene where he gives away a penalty and gets sent off.
Because he don't give a damn who if that's his nation's guy, he doesn't care. He'll hurt him too. If that's the notion we're going with, that he intentionally did that, which he did not by my standards.
Specious reasoning. But I don't know where to go with that.
Because and then he also said Romero was injured before the World Cup, or that he wasn't, and he actually was because he didn't play in the warm-up game. He was subbed on in the second warm-up game, and then yes, he did come on for their first World Cup qualifier as well. So factually, just misrepresenting everything. And if I don't defend our players, who will?
He's still bitter about it, even now, even today.
No, I just don't forget the facts. I don't forget facts, Shawnee boy.
I can tell he is very So when it comes to Spurs, so you guys basically think you need a center back now. The only reason I ask that is you could probably get maybe more quality options this summer, and one of them I actually heard. I don't know who suggested it today, but you guys were talking about Tomori. I think that's a smarter option in my opinion for similar money, but it depends would he make that move though because he's at AC Milan. I don't know.
Yeah, listen. He's homegrown, right? So I think the homegrown thing is an important factor. Tottenham really need to work on their homegrown. We've got such a poor homegrown caliber. I like Tomori. I don't think he would come, or I don't think he'd really an option, but I don't think he'd come now anyway. So like I said at the start, January windows are notoriously difficult to get business done unless you're going after players that are deemed surplus to requirements at the club, at the selling club, and Tomori certainly isn't that. So, yeah. Difficult one, but my first choice was Todibo. I really like him. I think Jean-Claire Todibo looks like a player that I could see in 3 or 4 years' time being one of the best centre backs in world football.
Oh yeah, the guy at what's his name? The
Nice.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go to Milan.
I was about to say Lons, and I was like, I always get them both confused, man. At Nice, the club that Ratcliffe owns, that's where he plays.
That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they're just making things a lot more complicated. So, but the thing is, we're in a crunch time. We're of necessity. We need a guy now. We need a guy yesterday. And I think with the Todibo, we found out that negotiations, they're not in our rush. They're 4 points behind PSG in league. So we're not going to just come in and take their best defender, whom averages over 101 touches per match. I think over 90% completion passing out the back. So he is a direct Romero-like player, which I was excited to have him. I would love a stable of 3 center backs.
And if they do win the league as well, they probably double his price tag in the summer as well. Debo. They probably double his price tag right there.
I would absolutely. I think he is the first choice too. But
so many clubs are looking for a centre back. If you think about it, other than City, I think City are sorted. I think Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs,
United,
and Arsenal, I think are sorted. To be fair, so I think other than that, I think probably centre back is on everyone's list. But anyway, listen. Big up to my guy Aaron as well, who says road to 30k. Yes, sir. Big up to you, Aaron. Thank you so much for the super chat, Habibi. The road to 30k is on. And speaking of the road to 30k, 25k celebration. My suit is ready. Inshallah, I'm going to be there at 11 p.m. UK time to come in and to talk, about this whole YouTube thing, everything.
One half of a suit, just the top half, right?
Can I actually prop my 25k thing, Jacob, please?
I just want to know, are you going to wear the bottoms too, or is it like just the top?
What do you give a fuck if I'm wearing shorts or boxers or whatever the fuck I'm wearing? Obviously, I'm not going to... Do you see my pants? Right?
I'm telling you, bromance. He's got a little... He's smitten.
Do you even see
I didn't know I'm not allowed to ask questions. I forgot that this wasn't 60 minutes with Katie Crick. My fault.
When was the last time you ever asked me what I was wearing?
Oh, I always know what you're wearing.
You know?
Great question.
I watch your videos and you wear, you walk and I see it. So I don't need to ask. You show me.
Okay. I'm literally listen. Anyway, guys,
like Sean out here like a OnlyFans girl. How do you know what that looked like, girl? I seen it everywhere.
No, I'm worried whether that Donna Cullen is actually you, but when you're coming in with that love, it's actually you just sitting there with a cheap super chat.
So anyway,
they'll never think it's me.
Before I was rudely interrupted by this fraud, I'm going to be back at 11, inshallah, for our Q&A celebration. You guys can ask me any question you want. We usually do mostly non-football, so you can ask me anything or any football questions if you guys want as well. If you want to be boring, you can ask me football questions. And, I'm just going to be talking about the journey to 25K, everything. Today is like a first-time reveal of so many things, because a lot of you want to know a lot about the beefs that I have on this platform with the multiple people, that I have problems with. So stay tuned for that. Big up to you, Aaron. Big up to JJ. Big up to Donna. Big up to Abdulaziz. Big up to Maya. And Honesty for the super chats. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you guys are subscribing to This Is Football if you are yet to do so. The plan for tomorrow as well is probably a stream with Henry Wright at 2 p.m. Then we have the watch along, and then Il Ahwa. You guys already know. This ain't new. This Sunday night. This fraud on the top left is going to be back. You get me for another Ahwa cooking. So before we head off, stick on the stream. It's going to take you to United Spurs of America as we're redirecting to the stream. So everyone head over there. Tell them that this is now Hussam TV. So spam Hussam TV in his chat, because this guy thinks when we take over, we take over. Go over there and spam Hussam TV in his stream. Jacob, where can people find you? Thank you for joining us, you massive fraud.
Oh, yes. You can find me just hitching my horse down an Old Town Road. Over there, United Spurs of America. Hit the like, hit the subscribe here. Make sure you are liking here, because, a 50% rate is not enough. I need more from the chat. Some of you have been funny. Some of you have been lame. I need you to step up the creativity in the chat. I know this is where can you find me, but I'm looking at everyone in the chat right now, and I need better. All right. Today was about a Ben Davies performance. All right. I need a Dragusin. Why would you ask me that question? It's not even a super chat. I don't have to read it. Legally, I don't have to read it.
Fair. Sean, unbelievable debut. Thank you so much for joining us. Like Van de Ven's debut earlier on this season. Where can people find you? And thank you so much for coming on as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's been fun. You guys can find me at Spurs Talk Show. Yeah, every day I take my dog out for a walk and talk about whatever's going on with Tottenham, and then do the usual panel shows. And I need to call everyone. Like you guys, you got a name for all your audience. Everyone's a fraud. I need to get something like that. I need to be really disrespectful, but also loving at the same time. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Sean, man. Big up to you, Sean. As I said, stick around on the stream. Go to United Spurs of America, spam his chat with Hussam TV, and make sure you guys go subscribe to Spurs Talk Show. And because you guys are a bunch of lazy bastards, The link is in the description. All you have to do is click show more and just go subscribe to both channels. So make sure you guys are subscribing to both of these channels and come back at 11 p.m. UK time as well, inshallah, for the Q&A. See you guys then. Peace.